Hi, Don. Can we do a mic check?
Yes, I'm on, but I'll be down there when I need to come on.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
Hey, Jeff, you want to do a mic check? Hi there, Jeff. Can we do a mic check, please?
Good evening and welcome to the September 27, 2021 meeting of the Shawnee City Council. I'm Mayor Michelle Disler. I'll be chairing this meeting. I'll do a roll call at this time. Councilmember Thomas is absent. Councilmember Zimmerman.
Present.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Present.
Councilmember Kimling is absent. Councilmember Larson Bonnell.
Present.
Councilmember Nappen.
Present.
Councilmember Constance.
Present.
Councilmember Chafee.
Present.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, I'd like to explain our procedures for public input. In an effort to enhance citizens' ability to present information to the governing body, anyone interested in addressing the governing body is strongly encouraged to register with the city clerk by noon on the day of the meeting. Information has been posted online about how to sign up. The city clerk will be available prior to the start of the meeting to register people to speak in the event they have no access to sign up by other means. Speakers will be called in the order they register as provided by the city clerk. When I call your name, please come forward to the designated microphone. I'll ask you to state your name and address for the record, and then you may offer your comments. So that members of the audience can hear your comments, I would ask that you speak directly into the microphone. By policy, comments are limited to 5 minutes. No person may speak more than twice to any one agenda item. Only comments related to city business are permitted. Comments and remarks that are personal, impertinent, or slanderous are not permitted. Disruptive acts are not permitted. After you're finished, please sign the form on the podium to ensure we have an accurate record of your name and address. Additionally, comments can be submitted to the entire governing body via email at governingbody@cityofshawnee.org. Next item on the agenda is a consent agenda. Does anyone have any items they would like to remove from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's items. I have 2 items on tonight's agenda. Item number 1 is the National 4-H Proclamation. From the Office of the Mayor, whereas the Oxford Hustlers 4-H Club of Shawnee is part of America's largest youth development organization and active of growing local club, and whereas 4-H is a commitment by parents to become involved by their children's lives during a critical time of growth and understanding themselves and the world they live in, and whereas 4-H is a commitment to empower young people to become engaged in the world they live in by high-quality learning opportunities to build on their strengths, meaningful leadership, and community service, whereas 4-H is a commitment by the community through the K-State Research and Extension to assist parents and youth while they grow individually and together in understanding themselves and their place in this world. Now, therefore, I, Michelle Dissler, the mayor of the city of Shawnee, Kansas, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2021 as National 4-H Week. Commend these young people of the Oxford Hustlers 4-H Club of Shawnee for setting a good example in the community. And I understand the 4-H Club is listening live tonight, and let you know we appreciate all that you do for the community, and we look forward to seeing you soon. So we can give them a round of applause. Item number 2 is the Fire Prevention Week proclamation. So I will ask Fire Marshal Corey Sands, Chief Potter, and the rest to come join me. Normally they have an issue with smiling, but I guess it's not a problem now that we have masks. Everybody fit? So from the Office of the Mayor, proclamation and recognition of Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the city of Shawnee is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting in the city. Whereas home fires killed more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 339,500 home fires. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire in which you have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. Residents with working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas residents will make sure their smoke and CO alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Shawnee is responsive to public education measures and are able to take action to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety effectively serves to remind us it's important to learn the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Now therefore, I, Michelle Dissler, the mayor of the city of Shawnee, Kansas, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2021 is Fire Prevention Week throughout the city of Shawnee. And I urge all the people of Shawnee to learn the sounds of fire safety for Fire Prevention Week 2021 and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Shawnee's Fire and Emergency Services. Thank you guys for everything you do.
Thank you.
I guess I'm the only one that has to, right?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public items. Item number 1 is to consider resolution number 1953, expressing the city's intent to issue multifamily housing revenue bonds, IRBs, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $28 million for the Meadowlark Apartments project. Hedgeland Developers has submitted an application to construct a 144-unit multifamily housing facility located at 7405 Hedge Lane Terrace. Bonds will be used to finance the cost of acquiring, purchasing, constructing, and equipping the project. A resolution is required. The recommended action is consider adopting resolution number 1953. Does anyone on the council have a question? Councilmember Nappen?
Yeah, I just want to point out one thing for the public, and correct me if I'm wrong, staff, but this is essentially just allowing a sales tax exemption on the supplies. And it's kind of hard to tell that from the wording, so I just want to clarify.
Yes, that's correct. And our bond counsel, Joe Serrano, he's actually remote this evening. So Joe, if you'd like to say anything.
That's okay if he doesn't. My comment was, it was really more of a comment than a question. I just wanted to bring it to the public's attention. Thank you.
Nolan.
Councilmember Jenkins?
There he is. He's delayed. Sorry.
Yeah, this is Councilmember Jenkins. I think good as Joe, I'm glad that Joe's getting on because I had talked to Nolan earlier today about this. That it's kind of confusing to the public. I think we've done these before, and so I think the council's pretty much read in on them. But I would just, if we could, just have a brief description to the public about how this process works and what the IRBs are and that kind of thing, and just so they have more familiarity with what's going on here. Thank you.
Sure. This is Joe Serrano. Thanks, Councilmember Jenkins, and good evening, Mayor and members of the council. To address the first question, yeah, these are sales tax only industrial revenue bonds. Both items on tonight's agenda are for sales tax only industrial revenue bonds. That means there's no property tax abatement that's available. In order to qualify for a sales tax exemption on the construction materials in a project, I don't want to get too hyper technical, but it needs to be pursuant to the statute. It needs to be funds of the city, and we can't use the general funds, and we can't use gifts or grants. And so bonds are effectively funds of the city. That's a little bit more hyper technical than we need to get tonight, I think. But in short, the monies themselves are, in this case, it's a $28 million sales tax only industrial revenue bond. We have to size the bonds for the amount of construction materials. Sometimes labor is included in that number, but we have to size the bond such that it utilizes the sales tax exemption. So $28 million of construction materials, a quick example, of which, let's say it's right around 10% is the sales tax rate. So the investment from the city is about $2.8 million of a sales tax exemption that's associated with this bond. The one thing it must be noted is for IRBs pursuant to the IRB Act, there is no pledge of city revenues in any fashion. These are only paid back through a revenue stream, which is rent payments under a bond lease. So I don't know if that's too much, too little, I'm happy to answer further questions. We do, with the city, I should mention, and maybe I should start putting this in a staffing report. The city does draw an origination fee off of this, off of these IRBs. On a quick calculation, it's right about $100,000. I think it's 0.3% of the par amount plus $15,000. And a quick calculation, that's $99,000. One other item, Councilmember Jenkins, of the $2.8 million of the incentive, I think the city shares just a little bit over 1%. So if we did our calculation off of that, I think that's $280,000 offset by the $100,000 origination fee. So the total cost to the city is about $180,000. I hope that answers your questions.
All right, thank you. Did anyone sign up to make any comments? Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to this item? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jason Swords. I'm with Sunflower Development Group, 1125 Grand Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri, 64106. My company is the developer of this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
We're good. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I will accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 2 is consider resolution numbers 1954, 1955, declaring the city's intent to issue federally taxable private activity revenue bonds, IRBs, in one or more series in an amount not to exceed $56,200,000 for the Neutrality Project. Neutrality KC2 LLC has submitted an application to construct a commercial facility located at 7801 Neiman Road. 2 resolutions are required. One is a master resolution of intent for the issuance of IRBs totaling $56,200,000 over multiple phases. Second resolution for phase 1 of the project for IRBs in amount not to exceed $36,200,000. There's 2 recommended actions to consider. First recommended action to consider is adopting resolution number 1954, master resolution of intent. Anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone sign up to make comments? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Second recommended action is consider adopting resolution number 1955, expressing the city's intent to issue federally taxable private activity revenue bonds for phase 1 of the project. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone sign up?
Yes.
Comment? Oh, Councilmember Jenkins?
Yes, I talked to Nolan earlier about this too, because some of the numbers are significantly higher than the numbers we had heard previously for some of these projects. I just would appreciate it if no one would, just for the record and for the people listening in, go over the discrepancies and the differences in those costs as they've been somewhat increased over what we talked about previously.
That will be the next item. There's additional motion with this item. So that's the next item on the agenda. Sorry.
As long as we get to it.
Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? Accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 3 is to consider resolutions number 1956, 57, 58, and 59, authorizing the projects, amounts, and reimbursement from bond proceeds for the 75th Street Improvement Project, Schweitzer Road to Quivira Road, project number 3481, Monticello Road Improvement, Midland Drive to 79th Street, project number 3489, Fire Station 71 and 73 renovations, project number 3520, and the Parks and Recreation Maintenance Facility, project number 3537. Resolution number 1960, providing for the sale of general obligation improvement bonds, series 2021A, on October 25th, 2021, in the approximate principal amount of $52,170,000. Finance Director Don Cobby is here to provide additional information. There are 5 recommended actions to consider. First recommended action to consider is adopting resolution number 1956, directing and authorizing the main traffic way improvement consisting of the improvement of 75th Street from Schweitzer Road to Quivira Road, project number 3481. Does anyone on the council have any questions?
Yeah, so in relation to Councilmember Jenkins' question, there are projects that have increased costs. And those are a variety of reasons, but some of the things that we found is just the cost of materials in the market as well as cost of labor. So we are seeing increased costs with our various projects that you have seen. One of those being the fire station, for example, that has gone up in cost. 75th Street, we are planning to rebid that along with phase 2 of Monticello Road. So we'll be bidding those projects here in the next few months. So we're projecting increased costs based on what we see in the market. The other project is the park shop. So we're in the process of our diligence period on the facility on Johnson Drive. And so basically when we set that number in the CIP, we're again projecting increased costs for that. These projects will be coming back to you. So keep that in mind in terms of design, proposals, construction, and bidding the projects. This won't be the last time that you'll see these projects and have an opportunity to vote on them. Basically what we're seeing as we talked about historically and kind of planning this out originally, looking at doing 2 different bond issues with the rates being where they are currently. And we felt like it was a good opportunity to go ahead and jump on this with where we're currently seeing rates. So if Finance Director Cobby wants to add any additional information.
No, I think that's the main point here is that we really rolled 2. We normally split this up a little bit. We rolled it all into 1 because rates are so attractive right now. We felt like that was somewhat the direction when we talked about the budget.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Yeah, while you're up there, Mr. Calby, a question about, okay, we've set aside, we're identifying a certain amount of funds that we're looking to bond. But we haven't really bid the projects yet, so we really don't know how much it's going to cost exactly. We've got a good idea. If the bids and everything come in below the amount that we've decided to bond, are we going to bond before we do the bids? Or are we going to bond after we get the bids? So what happens to those extra dollars if there's dollars left over, I guess is where we're coming from.
Yeah, I had the exact same question. That was one of the reasons to split the bids at the time. We believe there's enough, the way this is drafted, the projects can share money. So if one is over and one's up, we can do that. We can internally figure out how to pay for it. If there's money left over at the end of everything, Joe Serrano and Jeff White both said we can just basically go in and rewrite a project description for the next project that we were going to bond anyway. We had a couple on the horizon and we'd be able to use that money for that purpose. And then we wouldn't be up against it. So I don't expect us to have $5 to $10 million left over when this is done, maybe 2 to 3. And that would be about the size of a couple projects that were on our CIP. So it gives us that, we have that ability to use that money, but you would have to authorize that. We'd come back with those excess funds and do that.
Right. If it was not authorized, we could easily just pay that toward make an additional payment back on the bonds at that point. If we did apply it to a different project, is that correct?
No, the bonds are not callable. It's like a credit card. Those bonds are locked down for the first 10 years. There would be some way, I think we could make use of those funds, but if you decide not to do another project, I think we would move some things around to make sure we would utilize it and then take it and free up those funds. But we can't really have a call at the beginning that says if we have money left, then we're going to buy back something in the first 10-year bonds because that rate is so low and there's such a small increment there that typically you don't want to call that back in the first 10 years because it won't be as attractive when you're bidding out the bonds.
Okay, well, thanks for clarifying that.
You bet.
That's helpful.
And I think maybe Joe, did you want to say something? I think your hand was raised.
No, it was up, but yeah, but one clarification is what Don had mentioned. We can shift within each project as long as we do not go over the project authorization. So for instance, if we have authorized, let's say for the parks maintenance facility, if we've authorized $8 million, that's the max and the maximum amount we could bond finance unless we modify that resolution. So there is some manipulations, but we have to be careful that we don't exceed our authority.
Did anyone sign up to make any comments? Anyone else from the audience like to speak to this item? Accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Second recommended actions, consider adopting resolution number 1957, amending resolution number 1517 relating to a main traffic way improvement consisting of the improvement of Monticello Road from Midland Drive to 79th Street, project number 3489. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from the audience? Anyone sign up to make any comments? Anyone from the audience like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Third recommended action is consider adopting resolution number 1958, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds to pay the cost of certain public improvements within the city pursuant to charter ordinance numbers 43 and 46 of the city related to fire stations 71 and 73, project number 3520. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone from sign up to make comments? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Fourth recommended actions, consider adopting resolution number 1959, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds to pay the cost of certain public improvements within the city pursuant to charter ordinance numbers 43, 46 of the city related to Parks and Recreation Maintenance Facility of 18570 Johnson Drive, project number 3437. Anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone sign up for comments? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this? I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Final recommended actions, consider adopting resolution number 1960, providing for the sale of general obligation refunding and improvement bonds in the approximate principal amount of $52,170,000 for the purpose of financing the cost of certain public improvements within the city, fixing the time and place for the sale of bonds and providing the notice thereof. For the records, the bonds will be sold on October 25th, 2021. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone sign up for comments? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous items. Item number 1 is to ratify the semi-monthly claims for September 27, 2021 in the amount of $2,316,803.50. Does anyone on the council have any questions? Anyone sign up to make comments? Anyone from the audience like to speak to this item? I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded on this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Miscellaneous council items. Does anyone on the council have an item they would like to discuss? Councilmember Jenkins?
So I'm the only one tonight. Just wanted to extend thanks to the staff and everybody that worked hard on the Moonlight Market. I thought it was really successful. So great job. It just keeps getting better. So that's a good thing. I just wanted to extend my appreciation for it. It's looking real good and it's moving right along. And I think it's meeting our expectations. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said that because I was actually going to bring it up during mayor's items. It got sidetracked by the proclamations, but I wanted to add to, besides all the hard work that I'm seeing, I mean, not only just staff, but our senior staff, everybody's out there working hard to make this a great event. I also wanted to just recognize Royal Kruger too, because she's had a few very large events, with the car show and the fall craft show and all of that. And she does a lot to do what we're trying to do in Shawnee and to keep doing is to keep that community feel that we all love and bringing everybody together to do fun things. So wanted to give her a shout out too. So thank you, Councilmember Jenkins, because I went right past that.
And it was really a success. You didn't get hurt or anything like that. So that was a good thing.
Next item on the agenda is business from the floor. Did anyone sign up to make any comments? There are no other items. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion